Hey there, Aries. Welcome into Great Awakener Ether Realm. My name is Kimberly, and I am going to do an astrological report for the week of January 13th through the 19th. So let's start off with the Sun is in Capricorn, which is your 10th house of career and reputation. And there's going to be a full moon in Cancer. It will be at 23 degrees. That is your home and your family sector, and it will be conjunct your ruling planet at Mars at 26 degrees. So also we have little Chiron over here in your sign at 19 degrees, forming a T-square with this full moon. So since your ruling planet is involved as well, it's also retrograde, just to let you know. It's been that way for a little while now. This is going to impact you quite a bit, especially if your sun is in the third decan. If you have any planets that are hitting that 23 degrees or close to, it's going to hit you the hardest. All right. So this has the sun is your ego, moon is your emotions, and they're pulling at each other. That's why full moons are so intense, because they pull at each other and just like kind of rip at you. On top of that, the full moon will make an exact sextile to Uranus in Taurus, which is your values zone, your second house of values. It's basically how you value yourself, also how you, it's your earned income sector, so it's the money that you bring home. Uranus has been in Taurus for 6 or 7 years now, so more than likely you're pretty used to the energy, but when it triggers that planet, it's kind of, Uranus brings upheaval and awakening. To anything that it touches, basically. So right now it is touching of course, your value sector and your home and career sector. So it kind of seems like you might be making a decision about where your values lie in either your career and or your home, and what is more important to you, basically. On top of that, the full moon makes a trine to Neptune, which is in your 12th house. So the 12th house is your private house, your subconscious, your hidden secrets, hidden desires, even things that you kind of hide from yourself that you don't realize about yourself can also be in your 12th house. So this full moon looks like it'll bring some upheaval to your life, but it'll bring an awakening, which is always a great thing, even though at first it kind of looks like it's not really, like everything's chaos and such. When the dust settles, and Aries are pretty good at recognizing that, like after the dust settles, they're like, okay, and they can kind of see like where this is leading. So even though it feels a little intense, and Aries kind of likes their intensity, they really do. So whether they admit it or not, the dust will settle. Like, you'll be all right. And this is happening Monday, January 13th, just in case I'm mistaken. We also have little Mercury here in Capricorn as well, which is also highlighting your career sector. Mercury is all about communication, commerce, community, right? All the comm words. We also have like a really big stellium in Pisces right now, which is your 12th house again, subconscious. There's probably a lot going on in there. Again, your 12th, it brings a lot of stuff to the surface. Neptune has been in Pisces for 13, 14 years now. Saturn has been there for about a year and a half. And then with Venus coming in to conjunct Saturn, it kind of makes things just a little bit easier, you know. Jupiter and Venus are your benefactors in astrology, so everything that they touch, it just makes it a little bit softer. Another thing that is going on is just recently the North Node went into Pisces on the 10th or 11th, depending on where you are in the world. And the North Node is about the future, South Node is about the past. So your 12th house is something that you want to focus on in the next year and a half. It just moved out of your sign of Aries. It had went in there September 2023. It usually spends about a year and a half in each sign. And so since it just moved into Pisces, this is definitely a new energy for you. And Neptune's going to be coming around and exact conjuncting it at the moment, but it's within a degree and a half right now, so it's pretty darn close. So moving on through the rest of the week here, the moon will move from Cancer into Leo, and as soon as it does that, it's going to make an opposition to Pluto. Leo is your 5th house, creativity, children, romance, all right? And Aquarius is your 11th house of friendships, dreams, hopes, wishes. Pluto just moved into Aquarius permanently on November 19th for the next 19 years. It's a very slow-moving planet. It was going back and forth between Capricorn and Aquarius for the last 2 years, but now it's permanent. So we were able to kind of acclimate its energy just a little bit at a time, and now it's completely permanent. So Pluto is one of your outer planets, the outer planets. So you don't feel it in a direct manner normally, unless something like the Pluto, except for something like the moon or another planet aspects it. So when the moon comes in to oppose Pluto, it kind of wakens up the transformation a little bit. Pluto is the planet of transformation. So you're going to feel a little bit of intensity as well, especially since it's so close to the full moon as well. It's been about 8 degrees coming in here. And then, Mars is also, somewhat opposing it still within like the later degrees. So then we come around here to about 15 degrees. It's going to make a sextile to Gemini, to Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini is your 3rd house of community, communication. So you might have some communication around romance or children or creativity in your with people in your community. All right. And this will probably be around Tuesday, Wednesday. All right. On to the Thursday, Friday, moon moves into Virgo, which is your 6th house of daily routines. It's to do with your work, job, health routines, anything that you do on a daily basis in your daily habits. First is going to trine Mercury in Capricorn, and then it will, which is Mercury rules Gemini. So you're going to have, it's also a 3rd house, it rules the 3rd house of community, which is in your career sector. So you're going to have a lot of communication with your people in your career, whether good or bad. All right. And then Mercury is going to move to 23 degrees here soon as well. When everything starts coming around and hitting that 23 degrees, it's going to trigger it again. But when Virgo comes around, it's also going to oppose the stellium in Pisces. It's also going to conjunct the South Node in Virgo. All right. It's going to oppose all of this, and it's going to conjunct Your South Node is about getting rid of anything that doesn't serve you anymore. It's about your past, okay? So you're going to kind of look at your work, your daily habits, and it's going to kind of trigger you to, start making that move, all right? Going into the weekend, the moon moves into Libra. So Libra is your 7th house of partnerships, whether romantic or business partnerships. And when it gets to the 19 degrees to 23 degrees, it's going to trigger that T-square that happened on Monday. All right. So when you have the full moons are about releasing things. All right. And illuminating, bringing focus into something that has eluded you. All right. That something has something to do with your home or your career and or both. All right. Which goes back to the awakening with Uranus in Taurus as well, your value system. This is your 7th house of business partnerships, of romantic partnerships. All right. So it comes around here, kind of brings notice, it brings attention to it, comes here. This coming in here is like starting to accept, like you need to maybe make a change, right? And then coming in this way, you're going to be starting ready to make a decision. Now this happens next week, so I'm trying to stick to a weekly report, but when the moon comes around and hits Mercury, Mercury is very good about making decisions. So that's something to look forward to. But it looks like what we're mostly focusing on this week is mostly your value system and your career and family. All right. So if you like this report, you are more than welcome to subscribe. I'll come back next week with another one, and we'll finish up this quarter here. I also offer personal readings for astrology, tarot, many other healing modalities. If you would like to visit my website, you're more than welcome to. Until then, I will hopefully see you next week. Thank you, Aries.